The medbay of the salvage vessel Rusty Fortune wasn't designed for alien physiology, but Jackson made do with what he had. The creature before him was unlike anything he'd encountered in his 5 years, scavenging the outer rim, scaled skin that shimmered between crimson and gold, horns that curved back from her temples, and wings folded against her back, torn and bleeding. "Easy now," Jackson murmured, his hands steady as he cleaned the gash across her shoulder. "I'm not going to hurt you." The dragon woman Lisa, as she'd weakly introduced herself before losing consciousness, had crash-landed on the asteroid field where Jackson had been mining. Her ship was a wreck, and she was worse. Most spacers would have left her to die. Alien affairs were complicated, and getting involved usually meant trouble. But Jackson had never been good at walking away from someone who needed help. Lisa's eyes flickered open, vertical pupils contracting in the medbay's harsh light. She tensed, her hand moving instinctively toward her hip, where a weapon should have been. "Relax," Jackson said, not looking up from his work. "Your sidearm's on the table over there, along with that fancy sword. Though I have no idea how you swing something that heavy." She studied him with an intensity that made his skin prickle. In the 23 known sentient species of the galaxy, humans were considered oddities, neither the strongest, fastest, nor most intelligent. They were the newcomers, the underdogs who'd barely survived their own world wars before stumbling into faster-than-light travel. "Why?" Lisa's voice was rough, like gravel scraping metal. "Why what? Why help me? You're human. Your kind knows nothing of the Draconis Imperium. You owe me nothing." "Why? You owe me nothing. Why?" Jackson shrugged, threading a suture needle with practiced ease. "Where I come from, you don't need a reason to help someone who's bleeding out. This is going to sting." He worked the needle through her scaled flesh, surprised at how similar the underlying tissue was to human muscle. Lisa didn't flinch, though her jaw tightened. "Your medical knowledge is adequate," she said, watching his hands with curiosity rather than suspicion. "For a primitive species." Jackson laughed. "Primitive? Maybe. But we've got good instincts. And apparently, decent enough medicine to keep a dragon lady alive." "I am not a lady," Lisa said, something dangerous flickering in her eyes. "I am..." She stopped, wincing, as Jackson tied off the suture. "You are a patient who needs rest," Jackson interrupted. "Whatever else you are can wait until you're not bleeding all over my clean floor." Over the next 3 days, Lisa healed with a speed that astonished Jackson. What should have taken weeks took mere hours. But she remained aboard the Rusty Fortune, watching Jackson as he went about his mundane routines, fixing equipment, cataloging salvage, preparing simple meals. "You live alone," Lisa observed on the 3rd evening as Jackson heated 2 ration packs. "Yep. Easier that way. No one to argue with about splitting the profits." "Do you not have clan, family?" Jackson's hands stilled for a moment. "Had a sister once. Lisa. Actually. Same name as you. She died in the border wars." He forced a smile. "Guess that's another reason I couldn't leave you out there." Lisa fell silent, her expression unreadable. That night, the proximity alarms shrieked. Jackson bolted from his bunk to find 3 Krell warships decloaking around his vessel. The Krell insectoid raiders, who considered human ships easy prey. "Jackson!" Lisa stood in the corridor, fully armored now, in gleaming scales of hardened light. Her sword materialized in her hand, 3 meters of crystallized plasma that hummed with barely contained power. "Stay in the ship," she commanded. "Are you crazy? There are 3 warships out there." Lisa smiled, and for the first time, Jackson saw the predator beneath the wounded traveler he'd rescued. "Exactly. Only 3. She was gone before he could protest, launching herself into the void through the airlock. What Jackson witnessed through his external cameras defied comprehension. Lisa moved through space like a living comet, her wings propelling her faster than his thrusters could track. The first Krell ship didn't even have time to fire before she carved through its hull. The second tried to retreat, but she caught it, her sword cleaving through the reinforced armor like paper. The third ship managed a distress call before Lisa silenced it permanently. 11 minutes. That's all it took for her to neutralize 3 military-grade warships. When she returned, Jackson's hands were shaking as he pressurized the airlock. What? Lisa's armor dissolved, leaving her in the simple clothes Jackson had lent her. She looked tired, but satisfied. My full name is Lisa Drexthar, Supreme Commander of the Draconis Imperium's Star Fleet, Champion of the 12 Spirals. I have fought in 300 battles across 70 star systems. She paused. And you, Jackson of Earth, treated my wounds without hesitation. You fed me. You gave me the name of your lost sister. Jackson slumped against the wall. The Supreme Commander. I patched up the most powerful warrior in the galaxy with a basic medkit and some whiskey. You did more than that, Lisa said softly. My enemies sabotaged my ship, left me to die in that asteroid field. I was preparing for death when you found me. You asked nothing in return, expected nothing. She stepped closer. Do you know why humanity survives, Jackson? Why your species thrives despite being physically weaker, technologically behind? No, because you are the only species in this galaxy that helps first and asks questions later. You treat strangers as clan. You fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. Lisa placed a scaled hand on his shoulder. The galaxy has warriors. It has empires and weapons beyond counting. But it has only one species with your particular madness, your compassion without condition. Jackson managed a weak smile. So, does this mean you're not going to arrest me for unlicensed alien medical treatment? Lisa laughed, the sound like wind chimes in a storm. No, Jackson. This means you have earned the protection of the Draconis Imperium, and my personal friendship. Her expression turned serious. Though, I would ask something of you. What? Teach us. Teach my people what you showed me. That strength without compassion is hollow. That the greatest power is knowing when to extend a hand instead of a blade. Jackson looked at this being who could obliterate fleets with her bare hands, who commanded armies across the stars, and saw something he recognized, someone who'd been shown kindness and didn't know what to do with it. I can do that, he said. But first, help me clean up your dried blood from the med bay. That stuff's impossible to get out of the deck plating. Lisa smiled. Agreed. It is, after all, the least I can do. As they worked side by side in the cramped med bay, Jackson realized that sometimes the most powerful force in the galaxy wasn't weapons or warships. It was the simple act of caring when you didn't have to. And maybe, just maybe, that was humanity's real superpower. The end.